Andy Kindig, Trey Price is not going to be able to make it, and so he's down and is going. I don't even know what your thoughts on.
I don't know either. This is the who needs a CPA sheet? Anybody? I see one person in the back. Let me run that back to you. I happen to be a Missouri resident, friends with John LaRose Sr., who does this program, and I did something very bad this week. I emailed and said, you know, if you ever have someone cancel out, I'll fill in. And sucker emailed me back and said, someone cancel out. Then what was worse was I saw that I was in a session on corn diseases. I worked for Adama for a little while. Cheminova, and they were doing Fortix fungicide. That was their hot new product. And I actually had a neat little data set. It was like 13 different locations. It was low disease pressure. And it was us versus headline AMP. And you know, the question of what's your favorite fungicide, I clearly remember. Of course, Fortix was the best because it was our protocol, but when you look at each site by site, the win-loss rate was about 50-50 on whether we were better or they were better. The Fortix was a premium thing, and I think we occasionally snuck in just a straight azoxy. Darn it, that doesn't hang in there. So, you know, one of the things I remember, and I don't work for them anymore, I averaged all these trials together, you got 11 bushel yield increase on average. You know the rest of that speech. It varies by field. I still get a kick out of going to the Delta Farm Press and seeing someone else's ad, and what do they typically brag? 11 bushels. I don't know what it is about that. So I'm not really representing Adama today. I'm not representing I'm just filling in. We make Cotoran, we make Direx, we make Diamond, and we got a new deal going with Rice Tech on their herbicide tolerant systems, but I'm not here to give a sales pitch. Tell you what I think I might do. It's late in the day, I bet you guys are tired. I pulled out an old fluffy talk I used to do for a CCA meeting when I had someone cancel on me. It was talk about ecology. You know, ecology is really, really powerful. It affects diseases, it affects weed control. I wanted to actually tell what I think is kind of a fun story. I spent 7 years working at Monsanto, and the environmentalists of the world do not like Monsanto. They make those evil GMO crops and you spray GMOs on it and it poisons the world. And they actually, you know, most of the time, a lot of times companies and their PR department tell people to shut up, and Monsanto said, go ahead and talk about it on social media, even though you're not a trained communication professional. And it was pretty bold of them to do that. And I'm 57 years old. I don't know if I'm weird or not, but I do the Facebook thing a little bit. I have enjoyed looking up old friends. I've got a lot of friends in the ag industry, and I've noticed, you know, there's a small group of us that'll occasionally put something up on Facebook to appreciate what farmers are doing for us. I distinctly love, one of my favorite Facebook memes was a bunch of people in front of a porta potty, and it said, who's the food company? I've gone stupid. The Mexican food company. Chipotle, yeah, well, so it was anti-GM rally canceled because of stomach bug from Chipotle. You guys have probably heard some of this before, but I actually kind of did what the Monsanto people wanted to do. You don't put it on there all the time, but you've probably heard this before. It doesn't do any good to argue with the radicals. But what's the thing that the radicals do is they get the ear of a whole lot of other people who are kind of in the middle and don't know any better. And here's where you can really help it out. And, you focus on the people in the middle. This is people who may not understand agriculture, people who may not understand pesticides. One thing I'm going to say something dangerous. One thing I didn't like about Monsanto was how much they bragged that they reduced pesticide use. It's actually nice that they did. What they're really doing is reducing weed problems and bug problems. But, I think we need to be in favor of all technology. But your middle ground people, the thing they're looking for is trusted sources. And Lord knows who your Facebook friends are. People you go to church with who may work in town, people you maybe went to college with years ago. And, it's like, here's what it is, if they know you, have history with you, there's one little thing that goes on in their head. Maybe you're not a bad person, even though you're a grower using pesticides, you're a consultant recommending fungicide sprays, or when I used to work for Monsanto, I was developing genetically modified crops. So maybe they're not the crazy people. This slide just emphasizes that. My personal opinion too is I think we need to be honest with our friends. I mean, you're supposed to wear gloves when you're handling pesticides. I don't want to drink the stuff. And who here, when they had a kid, do you get a little more paranoia when you have a little kid? You want them out there next to the high boy if you're loading up good toxic bug spray? Nah. Nobody's perfect. I sometimes worry about this. Go out to the Mississippi River here in May 1st. Going to find a trace amount of atrazine out there. And yeah, there's a little bit of nitrogen out there because Iowa and Indiana and Illinois have fertilized their corn, and it goes into the Gulf of Mexico and some algae grow. That's a fact. Here's something I met up with my cousin once. We went to the organic cafe, and I had a vegetarian sandwich with fresh, locally grown organic tomatoes, and it tasted really good. Now, it wasn't the organic that made it taste good. I actually like to garden. My fresh, locally grown, non-organic tomatoes, I'll put bug spray on my tomatoes, taste even better than the organic restaurant that day. And yeah, it tastes better than a high-tech, pick green, ethylene ripened tomato shipped on a train car. Now, okay, today's January 10th. It is pretty dang amazing I can go to the grocery store and buy one of those nasty tomatoes. I don't think it hurts to teach your friends just a little bit of science. Fungi there's a lot of natural stuff in the world that's toxic. And just if you can make them think, I think it does something good for us in agriculture. Medicines, a lot of the stuff, the pills we take are kind of toxic. A lot of people will say the LD50 of aspirin is more toxic. The LD50 is lower for aspirin than it is for Roundup. I don't like to make comparisons because then they tell you, well, go drink some Roundup. Roundup has surfactants in it. I don't think it's really good for you to drink it. Most of our crop production products are biodegradable. They don't last forever. They're not nuclear waste. And, I think it's good to tell our friends that. I love to go into the shower and look at the gunk my wife puts on her hair. Read the fine print on that label and compare it to what's on a pesticide label. And tell your friends to do that. What's under the bathroom sink? There's poisonous stuff. And come on, gasoline fumes. Putting gas in the car. And probably, if you wear gloves to mix up a tank load of herbicide, you should probably wear gloves to fill up your tank with gasoline. And this is a favorite. I don't use this a lot, but the sky going 500 miles an hour in a thin aluminum tube. That is dangerous, right? Statistically, it's not. Showing you guys this just for fun. Here's a bunch of chemicals. Anybody recognize anything? The silence is deafening. It's the chemical post. That's treflan. That's atrazine. Evil, nasty, poisonous pesticides, right? Here's aspirin, tryptophan, and the one on the right is pretty dang important, caffeine. So, you know, this stuff that we use to kill our bugs, to kill our weeds, is not that crazy of chemistry. And again, I mentioned this already. What is our food? Where's our food supply truly sickening people? Some of this poorly washed, manure, fertilized, organic greens. I also think it's important for a soft sale, you know. If your friend wants to buy the organic food, it's up to them. I made this point earlier, and just know that your friend from school gives you some extra credibility. Now, I've got to tell you two personal stories. Personal story number one, I met one of my Facebook friends in person, someone from college, and I met his wife. My wife goes, yeah, I'm always blogging about how evil Monsanto is, but I don't really know anything about what they do. Holy crap. Now, is the fact that my friend, my Facebook friend who knows me from college, I don't know that it's happened, but maybe he's talked to her. And maybe now, you know, Monsanto's not so bad. I'm going to tell you one other story, and this is a little bit difficult to talk about. Happened this summer. What's all this dicamba stuff I'm reading about in the press? And if you buy me a beer, I'll tell you more about dicamba. I want to thank Monsanto for trying. I also think it's a very difficult situation we are in right now, and I hope we can work it out, but it's difficult. But spent some time explaining to the friend that dicamba's been around 40 years. It's on the shelf at Walmart in your garden center. I had another friend, this wasn't Facebook, but another friend at a party. What is this stuff? Took him into the garage and got his little jug of weed begone. You're holding it in your hand, man. Again, honesty, yeah, there were issues of it getting out into adjacent soybean fields, people's gardens. Don't blow smoke up there. With that, I think we'll call it a day. I like to blow hot air, but I'm not helping you guys out. Who here's actually a grower? Anybody? Or we all consultants? Well, I appreciate what you consultants do. Appreciate what our grower customers do too. See you tomorrow. Thanks. CCA sheet, so I can turn it back in, is